I'm a part of the problem. The problem is I'm peaceful and I believe in the people. That's a line from Lupe Fiasco. I'm here to talk about the art of activism because I believe that the art of activism is compassion. Something that came to mind just a few days ago was I saw a video on YouTube. A writer named John Green was liming with one of his Muslim friends. His name is Hassan, and they were watching the news. And the news is talking about some Middle Eastern thing as usual, but the camera is focusing on part of a wall of a house. Someone knocked out the rest of the wall. And on the remainder of the wall is something written in Arabic. And everyone presumed that it was some kind of political or just plain graffiti kind of thing. But Hassan is laughing, and John Green asks him why. They ask him to translate it, and he says that the translation of the statement means, "Happy birthday, sir, despite the circumstances." Circumstances being somebody just knock out your damn wall. And I think that whoever put that thing there was awesome. I don't know why he decided to look up this man's birthday and just give him a greeting while his wall is missing. But he was trying his best to be compassionate. And that's what activism thrives off of. People being empathic. We can't just do things because things are there. We do things because we think that it's right to do. You don't fight for a cause because someone told you it's something worth fighting for. You fight for it because you think you feel passionately about it. I'm sure men like Amilcar and other people in this room know that for a fact. Omar, Mohammed, Stephen Taylor. When they get up and do something about an issue, it's because they feel passionately about the issue and they think that the only person who can do something about it is them. All of us have that spark. So we're passionate about something, even if it's not something we think we can change the world about. But if it weren't for that spark, we wouldn't actually do anything in the first place. We wouldn't feel moved to get up and put our hands up for any cause in the first place. So I think, like I was sitting in on a man's class a day in University of the Southern Caribbean, sociological thought and theory, and they were talking about the Enlightenment. And the teacher defined the Enlightenment as a group of intellectual forces that moved the country's mindset away from unfounded assumptions that they were making about the state and about religion and all these other nice, wonderful things that we tended to make traditions about. And the Enlightenment was simply a group of people getting up and saying, well, hey, here's what, that's nice, but it doesn't really help us right now. And every society needs a point like that, a point where someone gets up and says that this was fine before, but we have a new set of problems. And I'm going to be real, some of that problems, things that we caused using the solutions that solved problems before over and over and over again. The way that we treated with things before, just making things difficult for the generations that are here now and the generations that will be to come. So what do we do about that now? Slide after this. So compassion is about not just feeling about something. You could just feel, but it's about wanting to know more and teach more about the issue and wanting to get people who understand the way that you understand things to get up and join hands with you. So what is activism then? If we put in compassion in the mix, this is the definition from Merriam-Webster Dictionary as it is put on the site, a doctrine or practice that emphasizes direct, vigorous action, especially in support of or opposition to one side of a controversial issue. But it doesn't include how people become activists. People can't just do things and not justify why. When someone gets up and fights for some feminist cause, some racist cause, whenever they fight against something that directly affects our society, they don't just say, you know, I felt like doing it. I was moved, I get up out of my bed, and I did it. They try to teach people why it's important to do it, why it's significant to treat with the issue and treat with it in a certain way. And then they gather like-minded people to join them. So what are we supposed to do now? Well, compassion has the normal basic understanding that we already know. When someone feels like helping somebody out, when somebody is in a stress, like everybody knows the story of the Good Samaritan. Somebody sees the next guy lying, bleeding on the floor, and he's like, well, nobody else is going to do it, so I have to. And that is compassion, but why can't doing something for all the women in the world, or all the impoverished young people in Trinidad and Tobago, can't be just as much of both? Why do we consider a compassionate deed to one person not a form of activism? And why don't we consider activist causes to help aid hundreds of millions of people not something that is compassionate? And that's all good. That's real nice. But then what about the big stuff? What do we do about the economy and politics and how people react to each other? Well, people don't think that you could create compassion in every space. Even Hamlet gave me that stress when I asked him to do this presentation. How you go ask men to be compassionate about the economy? The economy is a nature of competition. But does anybody know how a karate match or a boxing match starts? It starts with the two competitors greeting each other, right? Because they understand, well, it's just a match. I still want to win, but there's no hard feelings towards you. I don't want you to fail. I just want to succeed. I think that businesses, well, economies on the whole, should kind of espouse that nature of sportsmanship. Not only for themselves, but for the consumer. Not only should we not be doing underhanded practices in our businesses, like everybody's have these kind of issues with stuff like animal testing, and this new one that I was hearing recently that people will just make products to break. They will buy an iPhone tomorrow, the iPhone working best, you're texting your girl, sweet, yeah, you bly, and then 2 months later, you do nothing with it and it just break. The screen just crack on you. Like, but the iPhone best, I'd buy a next one. No. Buy something else that works. Or make products that work. People would rather buy products from a company that makes durable products rather than someone who makes the best product that can break. And that kind of thinking that a business should make its products for its consumer instead of for its profits, I think would benefit businesses in a great way. And it would boost the kind of loyalty that we have with the brands that we enjoy, because we know that we're enjoying it for a reason, for a good, valuable reason. So that's the economy. Then there's the political sense, which is what do governments do? How is a government supposed to respond to its country? If we elect governments to do the best job for its nation, then we expect it to know what the best is. But sometimes the best gets lost in what happens in the nation. Like recently, they were voting. Recently, there was a discussion in Parliament on the Statutory Authorities Bill, I believe it was the name, which had stipulations in it about how spouses become the beneficiaries of their dead spouse's property. And it makes it very clear a woman could get her dead husband's property, a man could get his dead wife's property. Cool. But in the parliament, there's this big fight about, but what about same-sex couples? We ain't doing nothing for same-sex couples, and this is one of the things that we're not doing. And then Mary King jumps up and says, you know, I know we need to talk about it, but we can't talk about it now, because then all the homophobes won't vote for us. I mean, it's a fair judgment, but doing the right thing, whatever the right thing is, because I'm not here to debate what the right thing is about homosexuality. I have my view, and I'm respecting yours. But if the government has a judgment as to what is the right thing for all its citizens, it should not refuse to do the right thing because it can't get a vote tomorrow. Because we voted for it now, and it's supposed to do the right thing for us now. So how do we, which leads into the next discussion of how do we decide what is the best for our own country as voters and as citizens. That should stretch beyond what we think is the compassionate thing. You now reach this slide, boss. Keep going, keep going. That should stretch beyond just voting for the party that we like, but voting for the party that will give us what we want. Like, everybody want gate. We want to get into UWI, give them a gate, please. But voting for a party should be more than just what I can get at this moment in time. Everybody wants this gimme, gimme mentality. But compassion is not about what we get. Compassion is about what we give. And understanding that there are things that we as citizens want for ourselves and for our families and for our loved ones should dictate how we make decisions about the rest of our nation. That if I want something for myself, it shouldn't be about, okay, I want this now, but other people want something as well. And my desires should not get in the way of the desires of other people. That what I want as a father shouldn't get in the way of what a woman wants for her own body. And what I want for my children shouldn't get in the way of what happens to other children who are not eligible for what I want to give my child. So I guess what I'm really trying to say this evening is that to move past the borders of how society has already existed, to move past the gimme gimme mentality, move past the wajang mentality, move past the idea that things can't be done for the future right now, and step forward into what can be done and what is being done. And they all are motivated by the cause that they want to champion and stepping into the role of the person who can do it and who wants to do it because other people deserve it being done for them. So I don't think I need to ask, what do you feel strongly about and how do you seek to move into making it happen? Because I'm sure that everybody has that one thing that they're compassionate about, their families, their children, their best friends, their lovers, the society that they live in, their neighborhood, their school. The only issue is now, are you going to keep thinking that you can't do it? Or are you going to prove everyone else, including yourself, wrong?